You were born in Modena, Italy on February 18, 1898. Though the birth certificate insists the 20th because your midwife took one look at the snowstorm and decided registering your birth could wait. From the first days of your life, you learn something important. People will bend the rules for you without you even asking. Your father Alfredo runs a small mechanical workshop. It's not a glamorous life, but it's filled with tools, heat, and noise. A perfect training environment for someone who will someday insist that engines are a form of art. Your mother, Adalgisa, is patient, loving, and fully prepared to deal with the kind of stubbornness that will later shape global motorsport. Your older brother Dino is the family's golden boy, healthy, capable, and annoyingly good at most things. You grew up surrounded by metal, machines, and the faint suspicion that school is optional. Born in 1908, when you're 10, everything changes. Your father takes you to a motor race in Bologna. The moment the cars fly past, you're gone, hooked, permanently rewired. Some kids see their future in a classroom. You see it in a blur of wheels, smoke, and noise. You go home knowing something most people never admit. I'm built for this. It's not a fantasy. It's not even ambition. It's destiny with the volume turned up. Life rarely cooperates with destiny. In 1916, you lose both your father and your brother within months. It's a devastation that would break most people. You're 18. Childhood ends immediately. Then Italy enters World War I. You serve in the Alpine Regiment because the country needs soldiers, not aspiring race drivers. You do your duty, but the only engines around are artillery, loud in all the wrong ways. Eventually, pleurisy hits and you're discharged. You're still alive, which is fortunate, but you're also coughing like a malfunctioning carburetor for months. Still, you carry something out of the war that matters. The unshakable certainty that you have survived this. Nothing in motorsport will intimidate you ever again. You return home to a broken economy. Italy in 1918 is like a car that's missing several important parts, but still insists on being driven. You're desperate for a job, so you march into Fiat and ask for one. They say no.
Nope.
Fine. You mentally file their rejection under companies that will one day regret. It becomes a long list. Eventually you land work at CMN, where you convert military trucks into road cars. It's not glamorous, but it's mechanical, and you're grateful to be near engines that don't explode on purpose. Then comes your first real shot. 1919, the Parma Poggio di Bercetto hill climb. You finish fourth. For a debut, it's impressive. For your ego, it's acceptable. Then comes the Targa Florio, a brutal race that eats drivers for breakfast. You finish that one too, which puts you on the radar. You may not be a meteor, but you're a rising star. More importantly, you're dependable. You finish races that others don't. In motorsport, reliability is a superpower. In 1920, Alfa Romeo brings you into the family. Now you're in the big leagues. Though the pay still isn't great, but the machinery is magnificent. The engineers are brilliant and the company is willing to let you race with their cars. That's enough. As you race, your reputation grows, not because you're the fastest driver, though you're excellent, but because you're observant. You treat every race as reconnaissance. Every engine failure, every victory, every mechanical quirk becomes part of your internal library. In 1923, everything changes again when you win the Circuito del Savio. After the race, you're introduced to Count Enrico and Countess Paolina Baracca, the parents of Francesco Baracca, Italy's famous World War I fighter ace. Paolina suggests you use her son's Prancing Horse emblem on your cars. It's good luck, she says. You take the emblem, not for luck, but because it's iconic. Symbolism matters. Branding matters. You're decades ahead of everyone on this. The horse will eventually become more recognizable than most political leaders. By the late 1920s, you start transitioning from driver to strategist. You realize something. Racing drivers come and go, but racing teams, well-run ones, can shape the sport. So in 1929, you create Scuderia Ferrari. It's not Ferrari, the road car brand, yet. It's a racing team under Alfa Romeo, staffed with top talent, equipped with machines you help refine, and run with a degree of discipline that surprises even seasoned racers. People join your team to go faster. They stay because your leadership makes them believe speed has a purpose. You're no longer a participant, you're a force. In 1931, after the birth of your son, Dino, you retire from driving. The decision isn't emotional, it's strategic. You realize your mind wins far more races than your hands ever will. And besides, someone needs to run this empire in progress. You trade the steering wheel for leadership, and racing will never be the same. By 1938, Alfa Romeo absorbs Scuderia Ferrari and appoints you head of their racing division. On paper, it's a promotion. In reality, it feels like being handed the keys to a mansion and told you're not allowed in half the rooms. You leave in 1939, but Alfa Romeo forces you to sign an agreement, preventing you from using your own name in racing for 4 years. It's a problem for most people. You're not most people. You create Auto Avio Costruzioni, a technical sounding name that basically means Ferrari, but disguised just enough to avoid legal drama. You build the AAC 815, your first car, and enter it in the Mille Miglia in 1940. The car doesn't win, but its existence proves something important. You can build a car without Alfa Romeo. You can build a company without Alfa Romeo. You can build a future without Alfa Romeo. They just haven't realized it yet. World War II interrupts everything again. You move your workshop from Modena to Maranello to avoid bombings. The factory gets bombed anyway, twice. You rebuild, twice. But now the universe has learned a rule. Hitting you only makes you more focused. The war ends, and with it, the restrictions on your name. Finally, you can build cars called what they truly are, Ferraris. The 125S debuts in 1947, your first real Ferrari, your first V12, and the opening chapter of an automotive dynasty. Its first race is a failure. Its second is a victory. A useful reminder, your story rarely starts with success, but it always gets there. You enter Formula One the moment it exists. 1950. Ferrari becomes the only team to compete in every season from the very beginning. Your cars win races, your drivers win championships, your team wins respect and fear in equal measure. Ascari wins the 1952 and 1953 World Championships for you. Your cars dominate the Mille Miglia, Targa Florio, and Le Mans. You are no longer building cars, you are building culture. Your son Dino, brilliant and insightful, suffers from muscular dystrophy. He dies at 24. You never fully heal from this. Instead, you channel the grief into engineering. The V6 engines he helped design carry his name. You give him immortality in the only way you know, through horsepower. Racing is brutal, and the era you dominate is unforgiving. Drivers die. Many of them drive your cars. Newspapers attack you, calling you cold, ruthless, even dangerous. Your response is simple. You keep working. You know the risks. Everyone in racing knows the risks. You don't trivialize the danger, but you refuse to let the sport stagnate because of it. You are not careless, you're honest, and honesty is often misunderstood. In the early 60s, Ford tries to buy Ferrari. Negotiations go well, until Ford's lawyers insist on controlling your racing program. You end negotiations immediately, without hesitation. Some say you walked out. Others say you erupted. Whatever happened, Henry Ford II takes it personally. Ford decides to beat Ferrari at Le Mans. A noble mission, a very expensive mission. Eventually, Ford wins in 1966 with the GT40. But while they win a race, you keep something far more important, your independence. You lose battles, you never lose your brand. By the late 1960s, running Ferrari is financially draining. To continue racing at the highest level, you need support, but not control. Fiat offers a partnership you can accept. You sell 50% of Ferrari in 1969, but keep total control of the racing division and major say in road car development. Fiat gets stability, you get freedom. Everyone wins. Even as age catches up with you physically, your influence grows. You sign Niki Lauda. You win championships in 1975, 77, and 1979. You build icons like the Testarossa, 308, and 288 GTO. And finally, the F40, your last masterpiece released in 1987. It is raw, unapologetic, loud, dangerous, and unforgettable, much like you. People fear disappointing you, some fear meeting you, everyone respects you. You sit in your office, sunglasses on, watching the world chase standards you set decades earlier. You die on August 14, 1988 at age 90. The announcement comes days later because you preferred privacy over spectacle, a rare un-Hollywood ending for a life that felt like cinema. Weeks after your death, Ferrari delivers a 1-2 finish at Monza, the Italian Grand Prix. The tifosi erupt, commentators break down. It feels scripted, but it's real. It's your final victory. You leave behind a car brand worshipped worldwide, the most iconic racing team in human history, a design language nobody else has replicated, and a philosophy that defines motorsport. You cannot describe passion, you can only live it.